Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, and today we're diving deep into one of Prime Video's most ambitious biblical dramas, House of David. This series takes the legendary story of King David and gives it a cinematic, emotional, and deeply human twist. After an explosive first season that ended with David slaying the mighty Goliath, Season 2 picks up right where the chaos left off, and trust me, it wastes no time in throwing us into battle, betrayal, and divine destiny. In this video, we're breaking down House of David Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, recapping every key event, exploring the shifting alliances, and explaining those shocking endings that set the tone for what's shaping up to be an epic continuation. Let's get right into it.
You are part of the House of Saul!
A Tale of Two Swords. Episode 1 opens in the aftermath of David's historic victory. The crowd erupts as David lifts Goliath's massive sword and decapitates him, symbolizing not just triumph, but the birth of a new legend. Mychal's narration gives the moment a prophetic weight, hinting that this sword will change warfare forever. As Jonathan rallies the Israelite soldiers to attack, the valley erupts into chaos. The Philistines and Israelites clash in a gruesome battle that feels personal and divine all at once. Watching from afar, the prophet Samuel prays for victory, while King Saul prepares to enter the fight, still tormented by Agag's ghost, a haunting reminder of his past disobedience to God. His daughters, Mychal and Mirab, try to restrain him, but Saul, unstable and proud, insists on fighting. Meanwhile, Achish, the Philistine king, sets his eyes on David, seeking vengeance for his father's death. Jonathan steps in, firing an arrow that wounds Achish and saves David's life. Flashbacks reveal the emotional weight behind this confrontation. Saul once crafted Jonathan's first sword from melted Philistine bronze, a symbol of victory that now comes full circle as Achish fights for revenge. The battlefield becomes a whirlwind of chaos. Saul charges in on horseback, while David's brothers desperately search for him, fearing he's too inexperienced to survive. Abner, commanding the front lines, holds the defense, while Mychal and Mirab hide as their camp is ambushed. Amid the carnage, Agag's spirit lures Saul away, deep into the wilderness of his madness. Jonathan, noticing his father's erratic behavior, runs to help, but David follows against orders. In his absence, tragedy strikes. David's brother Nathaniel is killed. Elsewhere, the Philistines target Samuel, who, despite his age, fights fiercely on the hill while recalling his past, anointing Saul, warning him of doom, and now witnessing prophecy unfold. When Saul finally faces Agag's ghost, he kills it, thinking he's free from his torment. But his victory is short-lived. Achish arrives for a brutal final duel. Wielding Goliath's sword, Achish easily breaks Saul's weapon. Jonathan intervenes, saving his father, but a mysterious giant appears, overpowering them both until David arrives and saves Jonathan. The Israelites eventually gain the upper hand when one Philistine king falls. They chase their enemies back to Gath, celebrating their win, though the cost is heavy. Nathaniel's death hits home as Eliab mourns, promising to deliver his final message to David. Back at camp, Saul hails David as his champion, gifting him a royal robe. Though grateful, David remains humble, calling himself only a shepherd. Jonathan, recognizing destiny in his friend, gives him his sword, a symbolic passing of legacy. Saul, for now, welcomes David into the royal family and even promises him one of his daughters in marriage. Yet beneath the celebration, darker moves begin. Doeg finds Goliath's sword and secretly hands it to Abner, hinting at dangerous future plans. Saul, convinced he's free from divine punishment, boasts before Samuel and demands to be reanointed. Samuel refuses, declaring Saul's punishment is far from over. Furious, Saul imprisons the prophet, a fateful mistake that seals his growing fall from grace.
God has given us the victory!
A journey home. Mychal's haunting narration, "My father was betrayed by the man I loved," begins episode 2, a powerful statement that foreshadows the tragic rift to come. Then we jump 1 year after the battle with Goliath. David's fame has grown, but so has Saul's paranoia. When Abner sends David to soothe Saul's torment, Saul instead confronts him, asking if Samuel has chosen David as the new king. David humbly says it was God's will, not Samuel's. But Saul, enraged, throws his spear at him, It's the first spark of their coming rivalry. The story flashes back to Saul's return to Gibeah, where he publicly praises David as the people's champion. From the palace balcony, Queen Ahinoam warns her son Eshbaal to keep quiet about his secret anointing by Samuel, a dangerous truth that could cost him his life. Saul gives David command over 1,000 men and promises him marriage to one of his daughters. Mychal and David's joy is palpable, their love finally seen by all. But in the shadows, Adriel schemes to expose David, hoping to reclaim Saul's trust. Meanwhile, Ahinoam greets her returning children, especially Eshbaal, who's clearly changed. His sister Mirab senses something dark in him. He brushes it off, promising to explain later. Tragedy soon strikes as word of Nathaniel's death reaches David, who returns home to mourn. The grief-stricken Eliab delivers his brother's last words, expressing pride in David, a rare emotional bond between them. At the same time, Abner urges Samuel to re-anoint Saul during the Day of Atonement, but Samuel refuses. He warns Abner that defying God will lead to his destruction too. Meanwhile, Jonathan, recovering from battle wounds, meets Sarah, a healer's granddaughter. Their quiet connection blossoms into something tender amidst the violence. Eshbaal notices and offers Sarah a position in the palace, but she declines, knowing court life means danger. Back in Gath, the humiliated Achish meets Daganor, who reveals the Philistines' new weaponry, iron. The age of bronze is over, symbolizing a looming technological shift that could threaten Israel's survival. In Judah, David struggles to convince his family, especially Eliab, that he can lead soldiers. Eliab, doubtful, fights David to prove he's not ready for command. Despite the scuffle, David holds his ground, showing humility and resolve. His hope? That his upcoming marriage to Mychal might unite Saul's house with his, ensuring peace. Meanwhile, Queen Ahinoam visits the imprisoned Samuel, begging him to convince God to forgive Saul. But Samuel insists. The Lord's decision stands. Desperate, she conspires with Abner and orders Doeg to torture Samuel for answers. In a chilling twist, Samuel curses Doeg, who's struck down by tormenting visions before escaping captivity. Saul's rage only grows as he sends soldiers to hunt down the prophet. Abner, perhaps out of guilt, secretly sends Goliath's sword to the priest of Nob, instructing him to keep it safe among holy relics, a fateful move for the future. As episode 2 closes, David returns to Gibeah, greeted by cheering crowds and Michal's joyful heart. She believes Saul is about to announce their wedding, but in a devastating betrayal, Saul instead names Mirab as David's bride. The shock and heartbreak on Michal's face say it all. Saul has begun his game of manipulation, and the rift within his family has only just begun.
God chose me.
Our nerdy thoughts. Season 2 of House of David is off to a phenomenal start. These 2 episodes blend spiritual mysticism, political intrigue, and emotional storytelling in a way few historical dramas dare to. The battle sequences are brutal, yet beautifully choreographed, while the performances, especially from the actors playing Saul and David, carry immense emotional weight. Episode 1 gives us a powerful war epic mixed with tragedy, while Episode 2 shifts gears into the politics and paranoia of Saul's decline. The introduction of Sarah and the evolving bond between Jonathan and David add human warmth to an otherwise grim story. Meanwhile, the emergence of iron weaponry teases a larger shift, both technological and symbolic, marking the end of Saul's old world. By the end, we're left with heartbreak, betrayal, and a brewing storm between a fading king and a rising shepherd. That's it for today's breakdown. Thanks for watching, nerds. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe for more biblical breakdowns, fantasy theories, and epic story recaps. Until next time, this is Spoiler Master signing off.
What the heck, I'll laugh anyway.